Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the former home of the Riverhawks, the UMass Lowell Forum, on the open section of Brick Kiln Road here in Billerica. Tonight we have a contest between the Arlington Spy Ponders and the Chelmsford Lions. Jack, we had a barn burner the other night, came up on the short end of the stick, and we could have another one here again tonight.
Well, as you mentioned before we started, Bill, we're facing one of the best teams in the state again, whether it be from a public school standpoint or a Catholic standpoint. The other night, we had a little bit of a disappointing run against Billerica, lost that game 5-2. We're facing one of the best teams in the Boston League tonight in Arlington, who absolutely smoked Arlington Catholic 8-1 at the beginning of the year. And I believe these guys are on top of the Greater Boston League as we meet them tonight at 12-1-1.
Yeah, they are ranked number 3 in the state according to the Globe Top 20, and they're right behind Catholic Memorial and Archbishop Williams. Some of the key players right here: number 7, Tim Haberin. Tim is one of the leading scorers in the league, and he has on his line with him number 11, Jared Spencer, and number 9, Brian Boyk. And these are guys that we're going to have to watch out for all night.
Billy, it was described to me as I talked to some of the Arlington folks earlier today, that line of Boyk, Haven, and Spencer might be rated the top public line in the state of Massachusetts. We're going to be putting them up against what we think is certainly one of the best public lines in the form of our top line. As I mentioned at the start, this is a team that's also played some of the common opponents that we've had. One of them is Billerica. As you know, 2 nights ago we lost to Billerica 5-2. This Arlington team beat Billerica ultimately 3-0, but it was a game that went deep into the third period, 1-0, and the 2 last goals for Arlington were into empty nets, and that was a Calabro-less Billerica team. So they beat Billerica, but they beat them without their major gun.
Well, we're looking at number 11 here, Jared Spencer, and he is leading the league in scoring. You mentioned that they beat Billerica and beat them fairly handily going into the third period. This is a team, we know Medford is a powerhouse, and although Medford isn't quite the powerhouse this year that they have been in the past, they've beaten them twice. They have, early in the season, on the 21st of January, they beat them to 11-3, and just the other night on the 7th in the Conti Arena in their home meet, they beat them 4-2. So their only loss this year coming early in January against Everett, and we know what Everett can do from last week.
Absolutely. Also, as we head into this, you mentioned that we've got certainly a formidable opponent in Arlington. But one thing that I think the past couple weeks, the last month, has bore out a little bit is that with this, the play the way it is this year, and there's Mikey Curtis, only CM is unbeatable. I think any other night of the week you can see any one of the good teams beat a better team this year, especially in the last few weeks. Billerica's lost to a number of people they maybe shouldn't have. We certainly have. I hope tonight we're going to see Arlington lose to a team that on paper it looks like they could take. We're going to peek over, we'll see the captains over there in McDonald, Ryan, Trahan meeting their opposite numbers to get some pregame instruction and a little disposition from the referee over there.
Well, the talk in the locker room around with the Arlington boys are with the coaches is that they're hoping that these guys aren't taking this game too lightly, and I think we're going to be hoping they are. One of the other things that we need to note here is that the next game we have is against AB on Saturday evening in Acton, Boxborough, and right now that's going to be a must-win for the Lions to take the top spot in the league.
Well, it's going to look that way. There's still a little bit of breathing room, but not a lot. We've called the last 4 or 5 games that we've done as being very important, maybe the most important game of the year. It's getting down to the time where they can't afford to lose too many. Let's just have a good, solid effort tonight. Last night, I think we had some kids skating off with their heads down a little bit. Again, it's a real emotional rivalry between Chelmsford and Billerica, but let's have a solid go against a team that we really don't know that well. Let's just play solid, sound hockey tonight, Billy.
Well, we need a win. We need to get these kids pumped back up, and we'll drop down to the ice for the introduction to the starting lineups.
First, the Arlington, 80 goal, number 29, Ken Perry. On defense, number 2, Jeff Timmons. On defense, number 13, Chris Martin. At left wing, number 16, Mark Bannon. At right wing, number 14, Ed Dillon. At center, number 21, Luke Thompson. And the rest of the Arlington team. And the starting lineup for Chelmsford, in goal, number 3, Jeff Neal. On defense, number 14, Bruce
Lindstedt.
Bruce Lindstedt. On defense, number 21, Jason Ryan. At left wing, number 24, Tim McDonald. At right wing, number 19, Scott Trahan. And at center, number 8, Rick Hajar. And the rest of the Chelmsford line.
Well, before the anthem starts, Billy, we're surprised a little bit with the lineup that we got from Arlington. They're not starting their first line. We've got a change on the Chelmsford first line as well.
Well, the first line not putting the puck in the net. We'll discuss it right after the anthem.
Is Bob Kilroy.
Jack, before we get into the action and talk about the mix-ups on the lines, I think we'd like to send our thoughts and prayers out to Bob and Kit Kilroy. Bob's got a very sick dad who is fighting liver cancer, and unfortunately they've been told it's a matter of time, so we want Bobby to know our thoughts are with him tonight.
Well, he did an outstanding job on tape with the anthem. He's a trooper. We did notice a little bit of a mix-up there, not a mix-up, but a shake-up on what we thought was going to be the first line from Arlington. It was shaken up a tad, and we're going to see the same. Are we seeing? Well, let's wait until we see the full complement of lineups out here taking the face-off.
Well, the announcement is Scotty Trahan with Tim McDonald and Ricky Haja centering. Lindstedt and Ryan on defense, and one of the other things we need to watch tonight is the amount of ice time that Jay Ryan gets. He put in a whole heck of a lot of time against the Bill Ricker team.
Well, there were three guys that got three guys on D, Bruce, Mike, and Jay, and it's really that's a tough road to hoe. The other tidbit we have as we face off, Arlington will go deep into their bench, Billy, I'm told. We might see 4 lines all through this game from Arlington.
Okay, Thompson throwing it in the corner, picked up by Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan up to McDonald, can't quite get it out. Haja picking it up. Haja trying to hit Scotty Trahan. Scotty Trahan in the zone. Timmons trying to check over to Haja, and Haja can't quite get the backhand on net. Van Kuren trying to break it out. Has Thompson with him. Little mix-up with Thompson, and Haja being checked off the puck. Great check by Scotty Trahan on Thompson. Long shot in on Neal. He'll handle that one easily. Millian goes down and looks like he's hurt. Getting up slowly. Here comes Lindstedt to McDonald trying to get it to Ricky Haja. And we'll have a whistle here.
Well, as you mentioned, Billy, is it Millian that came down and really looked like he damaged his right ankle, right knee? He may be down for a while. He's nodding his head, he's okay, but he took himself hard into the boards trying to check Jay Ryan.
Well, you can see him here on the bench, and you can definitely tell that he's in a little bit of pain, so the trainer will take a look at him. Okay, face-off.
There's that other line of quite shaken up, Billy. That's Greenwood, Curtis, and it looks like Jeff Kidder. So Coach Fletcher shaking him up quick and early. Here comes Boyk. Boyk being checked by Kidder. Arlington trying to break it out. This is a line that you need to watch out for. Boyk, Pevin, and Spencer. Boyk has Spencer in the slot. Can't quite get the puck. Jay Ryan trying to break it. And picked up by Boyk in a quick shot. And a stop by Neal. Kidder checking. Spencer into Boyk. Spencer in the slot. There's Jeff Kidder. We're going to be confused with the lines here for a couple of minutes until we get used to what Coach Fletcher is skating here. Spencer has O'Leary at the point, couldn't drop it back, being checked off the puck by Greenwood. And we're going to have a penalty here. Interference on Jay Ryan, and that's one of the things we need to watch out for. As many minutes as he had in the Barica game, he didn't draw a single penalty, as opposed to the Everett game where he had 4. So, Billy, I didn't get a good peek at what the ref may have called. Coach Fletcher had a puzzled look on his face as the ref skated by him. Did you see the call? I couldn't really make it out. Certainly it was interference call. I didn't see it myself.
Well, interference typically says you're hitting somebody who doesn't have the puck, and I think both of us were watching the puck on that one. So we've got Hager, McDonald, and Trahan with Curtis and Lindstedt. Sorry, we don't have Trahan. We're short-handed here. O'Leary over to Van Kuren, out to Martin. Martin winding up, blocked by Tim McDonald. Here comes Lindstedt trying to get it out. Lindstedt broken up by Mansfield. Mansfield spinning in the corner. Has the second Havern. Mansfield trying to feed back to the point to Martin. Tim McDonald over to O'Leary. Long shot, stopped by Neal, then a quick clear by Bruce Lindstedt. Great play by Lindstedt. Hager breaking it up. Here comes McDonald. Could be a break. And unbelievable check by number 13, Chris Martin, on Tim McDonald. Okay, here comes Arlington, and there goes Mike Carnes.
You're
clearing.
absolutely right as they change up, Billy. That was a beautiful, classic check right at center ice. Tim made the move to go around him a little bit. Guy played him nicely.
Okay, almost a break by Curtis. It looked like a Pye McKenzie hip check.
You got that right.
Okay, here comes Mike Carnes. Mike Carnes being checked by Boyk. Gets
About
it out.
10 seconds left on the kill, Billy.
Comes Mike Carnes, Spencer, and Havern in the corner. Mike Curtis, Lindstedt and Boyk fighting for the puck. Curtis and Havern. Havern coming up with it, comes around. Drops it in the slot to Spencer and just shot wide. Beautiful setup by Havern. Okay, Mike Carnes with Stesnowski. Stesnowski out here. Knocked the stick out of Spencer's hands, and they're tussling in the corner. There goes Stesnowski with a quick check on Boyk. Here comes Boyk on the backhand. Stopped by Neal. And Boyk in the slot, and great play by Mike Carnes breaking him up on that. Spencer behind the back of the net trying to center, no one there. Here comes Scotty Trahan. Scotty Trahan, he has long shot, and that'll be up and out of play.
Billy, it's funny, after the penalty was killed off by Chelmsford, with the guys coming back out, essentially we ended up with our first line, or the Trahan, Cisnowski, Curtis line out there. So I don't know whether that was, and what do we got coming out here? Well, we got the third line coming out, so maybe that was just Jack moving some stuff around to start the game to confuse two nitwits up here doing the game. One nitwit, sorry, Billy. I'm okay.
I resemble that remark. All right, Bichette, a coin, and Stevenson with McCarthy and Ryan. And we got to give it to Andy Bichette. Great play the other night, coming around the net and stuffing it in on Bellwrecker in the far side. Okay, puck going back to Ryan. Ryan can't quite catch a coin. Bichette in the corner. Bichette looking for a coin in the slot. Has Stevenson behind the net. Back to Stevenson. Out to a coin. A coin getting the backhand on it and can't quite get it on. Bichette picking it up with a turnaround and just missing far side. A coin trying to center, broken up by Burke. Jay Ryan dumping it back in. Here comes Stevenson. Stevenson checking. A coin picking up the puck just wide. Burke trying to clear it out, picked up by McCarthy. McCarthy keeping it in, dumping it in far side. Here comes Collazo. Collazo over to Burke. Up to Brendan Timmons. We've got 2 Timmons, 2 Mansfields, and 2 Haverins on this this Arlington team, so we'll try and keep them all straight. Here comes Tim McDonald again.
Boy, he really is shaking up lines. Now we've got Scott out there again with Hajar and McDonald.
This is the line. I think that was just a change where we ended up with Staszynowski and Curtis on the same line. Here comes Haverin with Walsh, long shot, and well, number 27, Ned Haverin, who is a freshman, along with Matt Walsh, who is a sophomore, their young line doing it and just taking it in, as Bob would say, the little fiddle and diddle dipsy do, and quick around backhand behind Jeff Neal,
yeah.
So 1-0.
It's a nice move to the goalie and went to his backhand and threw it by him. But 5 shots apiece to this point.
27, Norman Hagan. Assist, number 8, Matt Wall. Assist, number 15, Jamie Chavelli. Time of goal, 5 minutes, 41 seconds.
Okay, 5:41, Arlington draws first blood here.
5:41.
Curtis, Greenwood, and Kidder with Mike Carnes and Bruce Lindstedt on defense. Long dump in by Arlington around the back of the net. Here comes Mike Carnes back around the back of the net to Bruce Lindstedt. Lindstedt trying to be checked off by Haverin, who had no stick. And that should have been offside. Haverin was in fetching his stick when that puck came in the zone. Comes Mike Carnes. Blocked by one of the Arlington players, and Spencer being checked by Jeff Kidder. And that'll cause Jack Fletcher to call a change here. Here comes Hajar and McDonald. Mike Carnes trying to keep it in. Ricky Hajar does, and pulled down behind the play. No call there. Here comes Scott Trahan and Mike Carnes with Boyk and Haverin both right on him. Well, there's one thing we got to say, Jack. They look like they're skating a little bit more with enthusiasm than they were the other night.
Well, I'm glad they are, because they're down 2-0 with 7:41 left to go in the first. On just not good play coming into their own zone.
Well, hopefully we'll get the replay here. Long shot in over Jeff's right shoulder, hit the post, got dropped down and picked up by one of the Arlington players. I didn't quite catch who it was. It may have been Boyk, and stuffed it in the net. So we'll wait for the call. 7:41 remaining in the first period, and Chelmsford already on the short end of a 2-0 score here. So a slight offside here with Millian trying to take it in, and all right, so now we have
Scorer number 9, Ryan Bolke. Assist number 7, Tim Taylor. Assist number 11, Gerard Spencer. Time of the goal, 7 minutes, 19 seconds. 9 from 7 and 11, 7:19.
Well, we heard the announcement, 9 from 7 and 19. That's a scoring line for them, Boyk, Havern, and Spencer. We've got Trahan, Curtis, and McDonald out there, back to Carnes, and a great stop by Perry in the net. Justin Perry, senior goaltender for Arlington, and having a great season.
Well, we've got to mount a little bit of the same that's been mounted against us. These guys are crashing the net, getting nice opportunities going to the net. The bulk of our plays have been, as they were the other night, from a little bit further out than you want, not creating a lot of danger. But as we mentioned before, I'll say it again now as they start. This third line is a matchup that we'll take. They outplayed them earlier when they were out, and they're going to do it again right now.
Okay, Havern, Ned with Walsh. Backhand in on Neal. Puck dropped in long clear, which will be icing. So almost a little mismatch here in front of the net and potential danger, but luckily a quick clear.
Let's see if center Keith can get something, or center Phil rather can get something going. Wishful thinking there. Sorry, Billy.
And that is actual size on the screen. Jay Ryan up to Stevenson. Stevenson trying to get it out. There's a coin trying to do a quick dump off to Andy Bichetto. Colazzo. Colazzo over to Cavelli. And long shot missed. All right, here comes Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan coming up, trying to come in and checked off the puck, and a quick cover by Perry.
Well, we're seeing down at the left side of us, we just saw Arlington throw one across right in front of the crease. Had that stick gotten on that puck, it would have been 3-0. They are going to the net, putting the puck in front, and that's where they've beaten us. And our shots have been a little bit further out, which isn't a good thing. Let's get some guys heading to the net and put the puck on their stick here.
All right, Hazard, Greenwood, and Stefanoski with Lindstedt and Carnes on D. Puck drop back to Mike Carnes, long shot, and Ricky Hazard can't quite put it in the net. All right, here comes Arlington. Spencer has Boyk and Havern in behind, broken up from behind by Greenwood. Great back checking by Greenwood. Spencer with a couple of great moves on Hazard and Greenwood. Boyk behind the net, trying to get it out, and Ricky Hazard being held. Now that should, that's clearly interference or holding. Either way, whatever you want to call it, but nowhere near the puck. So it looks like Arlington may have brought their own refs this evening. Comes Colazzo, dumping it in the corner. Havern in a race with Lindstedt. Havern just beating him out. Back to Colazzo. Long shot, screen, and great save by Neal. Clear. Okay, Coach Fletcher calling for a change. McDonald, Curtis, and Trahan coming out. Curtis holding, waiting for Tim McDonald to get back on side. There comes McDonald dumping it in behind the net. Perry will stop it behind there. Scotty, Trahan, and Colazzo. Up, kept in by Lindstedt. Burke trying to get it out. Trahan trying to get it to Curtis in the slot and broken up by Boyk. Colazzo back behind the net. Tim McDonald chasing, and that could have been called a high stick, but they waved it off. Burke trying to knock it out for Arlington. Van Kuren and Scotty Trahan with a backhand in behind the net. Here comes Colazzo. Checked by McDonald. McCarthy making the change. And we've got Kevin McCarthy out on defense.
Well, with
Jay Ryan.
4:26 left, we got 2-0. Chelmsford on the wrong side of that in the first period. Again, we see continuing to mix up a little. Scott, Curtis, and Tim McDonald out there right now as a line.
Okay, long dump in by Arlington. And Van Kuren trying to get it. Here comes Mikey Curtis behind the net being checked by O'Leary. Great play by 21 Thompson for Arlington, blocking that centering pass. Curtis being checked by O'Leary. McDonald comes up with the puck. McDonald around the back of the net and stuffed it in. Great hustle by Timmy McDonald.
Well, it's very nice to be controlling the puck that close to the net. And Tim stuck one in, making a nice turn, took it away from the feet. We're going to see it hopefully on the replay. Curtis did a nice job holding that puck in the corner with two Arlington guys right behind him and pushing him up against the board. Tim went in, won it, came around the net and tucked in a nice little puck behind Perry, who has been as active as Jeff has. We got about 12 shots apiece in the first period here.
Number 23, Michael Curtis. Number 19, Scott Trahan. Time of the goal, 11 minutes, 4 seconds. 24, 23 and 19, 11:04.
Well, that's the call on the goal to Tim McDonald, assist to his line mates, which are Curtis and Scotty Trahan, making it 2-1 at 11:04 the first.
Well, this is what we need to do to stay in the game, and a long clear in by Mike Carnes, and Phil Lecoyne pulling it out of the air and almost tipping it in past Perry.
Billy, I'm sorry, we've got something in the area of about, unofficially of course, about 10 or 11 shots on net apiece, with about 3 minutes left to go in the first here.
Well, I don't know if Bichette was talking to McDonald beforehand, but it looked pretty much the only difference was McDonald decided to go shot side, and it was a great goal. Tim's been playing some great hockey this season. Okay, Martin around the back of the net, picked up by Spencer. Spencer trying to bring it out to Boyk. Boyk dropping it for Martin, broken up by Scotty Trahan. Trahan, Curtis, and McDonald still out there. Lindstedt and Jay Ryan. Ryan around the back to Lindstedt, up to McDonald. McDonald can't quite get it out. Kept in by Jeff Timmons. Here comes Mike Curtis. Has Scotty in the slot, couldn't do it. Broken up by Martin. And,
oh man. Billy, if this is a call for tripping, oh jeez.
Well,
this is just
plain
a bad call. I mean, it's a shame we don't have the replay here.
Well, the question is, he's not supposed to have the puck, and
well, let's look at where Bruce's stick is here. Bruce has got his stick is on that puck, and I'm sorry. Man's going for the puck. The puck is in his feet. And you got to think we're owed one after Hajer got hauled down earlier. This is not good.
It's a very poor call. We'll definitely give you that one. Okay, Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan taking it out. Has Hajer and McDonald with him. Jay will drop it in. McDonald come around, gets it in the corner, dump it behind the back of the net. Cafali. Up to Boyk, broken up, picked up by Havern, and quick cover by Jeff Neal, which is probably a great thing because Spencer was right there waiting to tuck the rebound in if it came out.
Yeah, nice little play there. Mike Carnes blocked that shot a little bit with his feet, and unfortunately it went right back to the guy who snapped that shot in on Jeff. Jeff tied it up nicely. We got 58 seconds left in the Arlington power play.
Okay, face off to the left of Jeff Neal. Face off won by Arlington. Ned Havern out there with number 5, Chris Mansfield, and number 8, Matt Walsh. Jay Ryan trying to break it up. Mansfield back to Cafal on the point, and quick glove save, and what appeared to be an easy glove save by Jeff Neal.
Yeah, that brings it down to 32 seconds left in the penalty, and a minute 49 left to go in the first period. 2-1 Arlington again.
Okay, so with 32 seconds remaining in the power play, we'll get the Arlington front line out there of Boyke, Havern, and Spencer. Boyk coming across to Spencer, and great stack by the pads of Neild and a great stop. Spencer back around, back to Cavalli, trying to drop it in, broken up. Curtis will clear, I'm sorry.
Billy, you're right. That was an absolutely sensational save by Jeff Neild on a bang-bang shot. Two guys in way too deep.
Okay, Boyk behind the back of the net. There's Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan will take Havern off his skates. Jay Ryan and Boyk.
Well, we're back at even strength, Billy, but clearly we have some tired guys out there.
Back to the point, long shot, great screen shot, right pad saved by Neild, and Scotty Trahan trying to send McDonald, broken up. Here comes Spencer. Spencer broken up by McDonald.
Nice
Curtis.
hustle by McDonald.
Cavalli knocked off his skates by Curtis. And we'll have a whistle here. I don't know why that whistle.
Might have been a hand pass, I think, Billy, on Arlington. Hey, when are we going to get some calls, Bill? I mean, I don't mean to complain, but our own, the guys on the bench over there have to be looking at this and getting a little bit perturbed. Tempted to use another word.
Greenwood trying to dump it in. Burke clearing up to Millian. Thompson, here comes Thompson. Has Van Kuren with him on the left.
Yeah.
And drops it back to Sosnowski. Sosnowski alone coming across. Here comes Greenwood and Haja behind the back of the net. Looks like it may come out. Great hustle by Bruce Lindstedt to keep it in. 20 seconds remaining in the period. Comes Mike Kahns. Kahns checking Van Kuren. And here comes Burke, and Burke clearing it out to Millian, who will dump it in. Here comes Thompson and Van Kuren. Kahns trying to drop it. Mansfield checking the puck, and that'll do it for the first period of action here with Arlington up on top by a goal. Score is 2-1.
Well, we're seeing Jeff, who was kept pretty busy there. I had the shots unofficially, again, about 12 for Chelmsford, 14 for Arlington. Arlington on the Arlington up 2-1 as we head into the first intermission. But I guess if there's a story to be had, or my pet peeve as we're up here, is that we're just not getting some calls that I think we deserve. I'm seeing some evil stuff happen with some red shirts, or some striped shirts rather.
Well, there's Coach Fletcher in his, I think, 87th year here in Chelmsford. He's pretty much an icon. And I'm sure you can see him a little bit puzzled down there, and I think he's probably saying, what the heck's going on with these calls? Because you're right, especially the call on Lindstedt. And you see him, you can't quite see the ref here, but he's talking to the ref if we can get that pan out here.
Well, he's smiling with them right now, and well,
I'm sure he was telling him he looked very nice in the black and white.
Well, we'll let that go. I'm told that in time those are leaving out, and all bets are square. But that first period, we saw a couple calls against Chelmsford that I wouldn't have made. We saw Rick Hajar get pulled down. Either that or he caught his jersey on a handful of nails against the boards over there. But, you know, we need a break is what it boils down to. Tim McDonald scored why don't we recap the scoring just really quick for what it's worth. Navin scored at 5:41 of the first period. I'm not going to give out assists to Arlington because they don't deserve it. And then Boyk scored, making it 2-0 at 7:19 of the first, where it stayed until Tim McDonald stuck one in at 11:04, being fed by Mike Curtis and Scotty Trahan, making it 2-1, and that's a better place to be than 2-0. That's for darn sure, Billy.
Well, I'll tell you, based on the way we've seen the Chelmsford team play over the last 2 or 3 games, they just seem to have a little bit more zip in the skates tonight. And you know, the Billerica game and the Everett game, they just didn't seem to be skating to their potential. They looked like they were some fairly tired skaters. And tonight they They appear, I don't know whether it's just a shake-up in the lines to get them going, but Coach Fletcher seems to have them skating back to the way that they can typically skate. And when you consider that they're playing a team that's number 3 in the state, and as you said, that front line is probably one of the best public school lines in the entire state, 2-1 at the end of one, I don't think we can be totally disappointed with.
No, and I'm convinced that a team like this, we haven't seen any immense defensemen on this team. Chelsea's been kept out of the right in front of the slot a little bit, or right in the slot they've been kept out, but these kids don't look physically large like some of the other teams. Everett had a real good couple of defensive pairings, and Billerica certainly has their share of good defensemen, but I think tonight they can score on this team. They're going to have to work hard though, and just to state the case the way it is, they got to be a tired bunch of young guys. They've had some tough competition against Everett and Billerica this week, and it hasn't been much easier for the past week before that.
Absolutely. You want to see some big boys. We'll see them Saturday night, because that AB team, we went down that roster and everybody was, 6 feet plus and 180 to 220 pounds. So they're all big boys. So 2-1 at the end of one. We'll wrap it up and see you at the beginning of the second period. Well, here we are back for second period action. It's now Friday. We had quite a long delay with the backup staff here at the Forum waiting for this facility to change hands, and multiple mishaps with the Zamboni, and the ice surface could be a factor in this period, Jack.
You know what's a sin, Billy, and it'll take another minute before we start. Without a doubt, within 25 miles of where we stand, this is the finest ice surface that there's been for the past dozen years. As we all know, the ULOL has moved out. There's a little bit of question as to what's going to happen to this facility. We just saw what a little bit of disrepair, I can't believe the deplorable condition that this ice is now in after just having a couple of Zamboni 101 trips around the ice here by the staff that's, by the way, it's not a staff that's been here under, God bless Don Lampron, did a fabulous job here, but heaven help us if this facility starts growing cobwebs, it'd be a sin.
Well, we agree. This facility used by a number of the associations around, the Lowell Junior Chiefs, and of course the high school, and it would be a shame to see it close. So here we are with second period action. We'll watch a couple of bounces here with the puck, and hopefully won't hit any of the bad spots in the ice.
Well, we're down 2-1, as you know, as we head into the second here.
Okay, the front line, Curtis Strahan McDonald, and the front line for Arlington, which is Boyd, Spencer, and Havern. And here's Jay Ryan behind the back of the net over to Lindstedt. Lindstedt being checked by Boyd up to McDonald. Lindstedt knocked down by Boyk, and Jay Ryan knocked down. So he's coming out and hitting and making sure this is a physical second period.
Well, that number 9 Boyk had just showed his incredible balance and strength. Jay Ryan stepped into him. Boyk didn't move. Jay went down. Boyk 10 seconds later went over and hammered Bruce and knocked him down. That Boyk is a big kid.
Is he known as Brian Boitano in the last Olympics? Isn't he the guy that does the backflips? Or is
don't know. Don't think so.
All right, Jay Ryan and Tim McDonald. And puck cleared out to center ice, dumped in by Chris Martin. Will come to the side of the crease. Lindstedt up to McDonald. McDonald and Millen back to Cavalli. And right pad saved by Jeff Neal. Here comes Scott Trahan trying to send away Mike Curtis, and we'll have an icing call with the puck being brought to the right of Jeff Neal.
Well, that Boyk, who is a junior, number 9, showed real strength. Haven't seen that up until this point, but he was knocking guys over at will there, Bill.
Well, Lindstedt and Ryan are not easy boys to knock down, so see a little change here. We had Greenwood, Sosnowski, and Hager out, and without the puck being dropped, Chunset will with the home ice will get the last change, and we got Walsh, Mansfield, and it looks like Jeff Timmons against Stevenson, Bichetto, and Phil O'Coin. And bad bounce off the boards, and Jeff Neal Smiley covering up. Mansfield, Matt Walsh, and Ed Haverin with Caffelli and Adam O'Leary on defense. Back to Caffelli. Puck back to Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh drops it to O'Leary. Long shot in. Neal with the save. Over to Walsh. Quick check on Andy Bichetto. Around Mansfield. Walsh behind the back of the net. Checked by Kevin McCarthy. Puck in the corner. Ned Haverin, Bichetto trying to. Puck being dropped back, and again Arlington behind the back of the net. A little bit sloppy play here, Jack, by Chelmsford. Can't quite get it out. Okay, here comes Mike Carnes trying to get it up to Stevenson. Stevenson off the boards. O'Coin and Bichetto, and broken up by number 4, Adam O'Leary. Valley. Here comes Phil O'Coin, again broken up by Matt Walsh. Walsh trying to hit Mansfield. Arlington will call for a change, getting their front line out here, and a real strange backhand with a quick cover by Jeff Neal.
Well, that was a long shift for that line. They were out there, and the play was 90% in our own zone. Then when we did get it outside the zone, as soon as we put our stick on the puck, there was a little bit of panic, and there weren't real crisp passes there. Just trying to get rid of the puck a little bit. And I'm looking at a few guys right now that look like they're afraid to make a mistake, Billy, on Chelmsford.
Well, Blake Haverin and Spencer against Curtis, Trahan, and McDonald. Here comes Spencer, long shot. And saved by Jeff Neal. McDonald trying to hit Mike Curtis, couldn't quite get it on the backhand. Here comes Scotty Trahan. Great play by Mike Curtis to keep it in at the point. Cleared out, kept in by Lindstedt. And quick clear up. Here comes Boyk. 3-on-1 here with Jay Ryan back. Long shot. Jeff Neal lost it. Made the stop. And the faceoff will be to his right. That puck. 3-on-1, Boyd took the shot, and Jeff made the initial stop, couldn't cover it and lost it, but did cover eventually.
Yeah, we're going to see the replay, and it doesn't look like Jeff realized where this was. He was looking around, it was stuck in his pads a little bit, but boy, Billy, we had the puck in our own zone, and in a heartbeat, Arlington turned that around and brought it up on a 3-on-1 breakaway, and thank goodness the guy held on to it and took the shot on his own.
All right, Haja, Sosnowski, and Greenwood. Center and pass by Arlington, couldn't quite connect. And long shot, looks like that'll be icing, and we'll come back to the right of Jeff Neal.
This is an Arlington team that goes to the net. We saw another good scoring opportunity for him there. Threw it to a guy that was crashing through the slot, and he got the shot just to the left of the net, but was a good opportunity for Arlington there. Within 5 seconds, we iced that puck. So let's control this puck here, guys.
Okay, screen shot blocked out in front, rolled in on Neal, then a quick cover. The other thing I've noticed here, Jack, is the real fast line changes that Arlington makes.
Well, I haven't really paid attention down through the third line as we're standing here now. We do have the third line more or less on there, or is this really a fourth line out there? Number 3, I don't recall seeing 3 before, Billy.
Yeah, 3 is Mark Albano, and he is actually a new addition to the team. He was not on our original roster and was actually penciled in by one of the coaches early in the game, so don't have any stats on him. But you're absolutely correct. Okay, Sosnowski trying to get it up to Cons, to Haja. Hazia has Greenwood breaking, trying to hit Greenwood. Greenwood into the corner, being checked by 13, Chris Martin, trying to center in a backhand. Hazia couldn't quite get it up, and quick shot had the whole top side of the net and just shot it wide. Number 2, Jeff Timmons around the back, and there's Jay Ryan with his first decent hit of the game, taking number 16, Mark Van Kuren, off his skates.
Well, with 10:36, excuse me, 10:36 left in the second, the shots are just around 5 or 6 for Arlington. I think we've mustered 1 so far, Billy.
Okay, Bichetto will take the face-off with a coin and Stevenson, Carnes and McCarthy on defense. Here comes Arlington in the corner, center, quick clear by Mike Carnes. And Danny Bichetto can't quite get it out. Ned Havern back to the point to Cavalli, long shot. And Matt Walsh trying to get a stick on it. Bichetto and McCarthy in the corner. Arlington dumping it back behind the net. Ned Havern checking with Bichetto. Ned Havern back to Cavalli. Cavalli winding up, long shot, screen. And quick cover by Jeff Neal.
Well, territorially, Billy, you know, 2 barometers you use is to determine how a game's going. Shots on net, here we see just a long shot, falls at Jeff's feet, covers up. But territorially, we're losing this period. Shots on net, we're losing this period. No score yet in this period, still 2-1. Well, we got to get some barometers moving our way a little bit.
And slight offside there, and with both the men in black and white blowing the whistle, I think they woke up Justin Perry down the other end here.
Well, I'm not going to complain about an offside. That's like calling, questioning balls and strikes, but I thought that play was all right, Bill.
Okay, McDonald, Curtis, Strahan, Lindstedt, and Ryan. Ryan with McDonald. McDonald dumping it in around the back of the net. Arlington trying to break out, kept in by Lindstedt. Burke trying to get it up. McDonald, long shot. Burke back in front to Scotty Trahan, and a shot, and Perry just squeezing the pads and holding on.
Well, you're going to see Mike Carnes, or Mike Curtis rather, skating right up here by the blue line. Scotty had to react pretty quick to that and take the shot, but he had Curtis heading right towards an empty crease, and if Scotty had just seen him in time, bang, look at that Curtis. And Curtis is going to wheel around and bang his head with his stick a little bit. That was an opportunity that could have been.
Okay, long shot by Ryan, blocked out in the middle. Here comes Havern. Boyk in the corner, back to Spencer. Spencer trying to drop it back to the point. For hand to Curtis, to McDonald. McDonald can't quite hold on, going in the corner against Burke. And here comes Arlington. This line can skate. Here comes Havern dropping it for Spencer. Spencer, great play by Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan's got Tim McDonald up over the red line. He'll dump it in, and Tim McDonald heading for the bench. Stasnowski. And Scotty Trahan will head to the bench, and we'll pick up Greenwood. Here comes Burke. Kept in by Greenwood. Greenwood has Mike Curtis going to the net and blocked. Cleared out of the zone. Cons over to Jay Ryan.
Well, a tired Mike Curtis. We got icing here. Mike Curtis finishing up a long shift, and he shook his head a little bit as he was going off. Probably just a little frustrated that he didn't have an opportunity to finish off a play. He had another deal down there where the puck didn't find its way over to him, and we do need to, this may not come out the way it's intended, but we need some scoring from that first line just to get their confidence rolling. Not to say they've been on their haunches doing nothing, but we need to get them in sync, and that means to have them score.
Okay. Comes Arlington, 22, Greenwood. Puck being picked up by Greenwood, up to Hazia, broken up by Van Kuren. And Sosnowski tripping up with Thompson, and luckily no call. Back to the point, kept in by Arlington around the back of the net. Thompson. Puck in the corner, picked up by Lindstedt. Lindstedt trying to get it to Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan up and clears it out, and that'll be long, and we'll go in on Perry, so there'll be no ice.
We'll give it a shot on net, though, Billy. We got 7:35 left to go in the second. Still 2-1 here in a game that can be had right now. With a little luck, we can get right back in this thing. We're not out of it by any means, but need to assert ourselves a little bit against a team that's running on us a bit.
Okay, Coyne, Stevenson, Bichetto with Kahns and McCarthy on defense. Here comes Walsh. Walsh trying to hit Coleman. Coleman. Stevenson going around the back of the net. Walsh picks it up and tries to stuff it in, and picked up by number 10, I believe, Tom Cacavaro. We're hoping that Cacavaro wouldn't get on the ice tonight.
Well, he got on and he scored. Here you're going to see Brett go behind. It gets picked a little bit, thrown in on to the right of Jeff, and somehow bounces around the back of the net, I think. I don't know whether we're going to see that again. Came out the other side, and it got tucked into an empty side with a couple of our guys standing there not realizing it was there.
Well, you'll see this if we roll it back. That puck,
right across,
that
right
puck exactly. Neil made the stop on the right-hand side as it was trying to be stuffed in. It bounced exactly on a Cacavaro stick. Jeff thought he had it, and unfortunately, Cacavaro walked around the other side.
Assist number 19, Brendan Coleman. Time of the goal, 7 minutes, 47 seconds. 10 from 17 to 19, 7:47.
All right, Scotty Trahan with the long pass, trying to center to McDonald. Couldn't quite get it around the back of the net. Scotty Trahan dumping it back in to McDonald. McDonald out in front to Curtis, and a great stop by Perry. Puck cleared, kept in by Scotty Trahan. Great effort by Scotty here. And Boyk picking it up. Boyk has Spencer, has Havern up ahead, and looks like we'll have about a 3-line pass here. That faceoff will come just inside the Arlington blue line.
You're going to see a great opportunity by Tim. He bangs it right off the pads, comes out to Scotty, and it just rolls off the end of his stick before he can make the strong wrist shot back in. But it's a game of inches, and we're not getting the breaks right now.
Greenwood, Sosnowski, and Haja with Kahns and Jay Ryan on D. Arlington long clear in. 3-1 Arlington, 6 minutes remaining in the second period. Around the back of the net, Kahns up to Sosnowski. And John losing it over to Greenwood. Greenwood dumping it in the corner. Number 4, Adam O'Leary behind the back of the net. Quick backhand by Haja, not quite hot enough on net. A great effort by Ricky. Sosnowski with 15, Jamie Cafali. Around the back of the net, O'Leary being checked by Greenwood. And the 215's a little tangle on the other side of the net. Chris Mansfield trying to get it out, kept in by Kahns. Kahns just wide of the net. Sosnowski behind the back of the net around, trying to dump it back for Greenwood, and broken up by Walsh. Walsh to O'Leary. O'Leary coming out trying to hit Walsh, and great play by Jay Ryan, and if that didn't happen, he would have been in alone. And Jay Ryan taking Mansfield right off of his skates. So it looks like it's beginning to open up, Jack.
Yeah, it is, which isn't necessarily a good thing for us yet, even though we did carry the last minute and a half of play there. I'll tell you something else I've noticed is we're more than halfway through this period. Jay Ryan tonight, as he was against Bill Ricca, is a marked man. Every chance somebody sees a 21, they're hitting him twice. Nice play by Brett riding that guy off.
Brett Stevenson riding Chris Walsh. And Wood had the clear backhand, easy in on Neal. Here comes Brett again, dumping it behind the back of the net. Bichette trying to center, and great play by Brendan Coleman breaking him up. Here comes Walsh. Walsh to Coccavero. Saved by Neal. Back to Collazo. Long shot, screen, and Walsh trying to tip it, actually blocked the shot. Back to number 6, Andrew Sensei. McCarthy. Back to Sensei. Tried to be broken up by a coin and cleared by Bichette. And that'll be icing.
We might get this on replay. Jason Ryan just coming out of the Arlington zone. I don't know whether we're going to see this or not, but Jason puts a hit on one of the Arlington players. It gets stood up. Yeah, here it comes right here. He takes one hit. Next player comes in and hits him again. If we can follow this up a little bit, just another guy comes in with elbows high.
And still can't get a call, Jack.
No.
That second hit should have been ruled interference. All right, back to live action here. Number 3, Mark Albano. And here comes Collazo. Collazo to Van Kuren. Van Kuren trying to drop it, and great back checking by Scotty Trahan. Curtis behind the back of the net. Lindstedt. Lindstedt dumping it back for Jay Ryan. One thing you got to say on this defensive core, they do know where one another are, and they play real well together. Okay, Thompson chasing in, being broken up by Lindstedt to Jay Ryan. Okay, Arlington with the puck. Jay Ryan coming around the back of the net. Back to Lindstedt. Lindstedt being checked on the play by Thompson. Scotty Trahan trying to feed it up, and long shot just to the left of Jeff Neal. Here comes Scotty Trahan trying to get it up to Mike Curtis, just outside the zone. Collazo trying to dump it in, blocked by Scotty, has Mike Curtis with him. Scotty trying to dump it, and Scotty hauled down. No call again. Well, we're glad Kilroy's not here. He'd be having heart failure with some of the lack of calls here tonight, Jack. They're going one way. Okay, here comes Spencer. Spencer back to Haverin, has Boyk out in front. And quick clear by Mike Curtis. Great play by Curtis. And Curtis will try to hit McDonald on the fly. And Martin.
Boy.
Mike Curtis just did the Pie McKenzie on Brian Boyk. And as we said, Brian Boitano did the backflip with a lot of assistance from Mike Curtis.
Well, that was the check of the night.
And Jay Ryan hitting Spencer. And Jay Ryan coming up with the puck. Has Ricky Hager with him. We have had a change here. Long shot in just wide of Perry. Kozanowski trying to come up with it. Timmons being checked by Hager, kept in by Hager. Great hustle by Ricky. Martin dumping around the back of the net. Brian Boyk behind, dumping it in to Timmons. Timmons around the back of the net. And Arlington trying to get it out. This great effort by this line, Jack.
Billy, we're seeing the game really turn up a notch as far as volume and aggression on both sides, and with it 3-1, and let's close this guy down.
Jared Spencer being checked by both Hager. Boyk trying to hit Jay Ryan. The lay offside, and the ref getting in the way there, taking a shot by Jay. Long shot in on Perry, he'll cover. Cavalli will take it around, tries to hit Mansfield. Mansfield looking, waiting. Mansfield trying to hit 27, Ned Haverin. Rick Hager trying to get it up to Scotty Trahan. Rick will carry it in himself and get tripped up by Tim McDonald, and Scotty Trahan just a bit offside.
Well, Mike Curtis turned up the volume a little bit here with 16 seconds left to go in this period. The big boy for, well, let's see the whole thing here. Watch Boyk come through center ice, and a beautiful hip check sends him head over tea kettle. And good for Mike Curtis. That's a classic check.
I told you he could do that backflip. You just, you know, Olympics are going on, he can do the backflip. All right, Scotty Trahan, he has Mike Curtis and broken up out in front. And that'll just about do it. Well, Jack, we're down one more than we were at the end of the last period, but I don't think you can fault this team for the effort in that period.
No, I think there was a period of time, the first 6 minutes of play didn't look like we were moving it the way we wanted to. But from there it turned around a little bit as we see some of the Arlington bench, and as they're clearing out, I think there's an attempt here to get Coach DiCaprio, who many of you may remember his son Rich played here and had some scoring titles 3 years ago. But the play has turned around a little bit. We've lost some ground. It was 2-1 after one. It's 3-1 now after 2 periods with 15 minutes left to go. If we can't get it tied, we're at least going to get even, because I think we're going to have some guys headhunting down there from both sides. We saw some of the Arlington players, even the freshmen, taking some bodies, and when a freshman is running some of our seniors, I think it's time to take some umbrage and hit some guys on our own. But this is a good club from Arlington, Billy.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I'll be honest with you, Jack. If you told me it was only going to be 3-1 at the end of the second, coming in here tonight, based on the last couple of games and seeing, you know, our team and how tired they've been, I would have told you that you're probably mistaken. So, hate to be on the short end of a 3-1 score, but at this point in time, I think we're skating with them in this period. And we can give the same effort for another period. I think we may have a shot at this one.
Well, you mentioned that some tired guys on our side. That's certainly true. One point in time, I saw guys that I didn't even write down in the top 3 defensive pairings from Arlington got some time in that period, at the end of that period, once they got the 3-1 lead. So Arlington's got the luxury of skating as many as what appears to be 20 guys right now. I don't know that Coach Fletcher enjoys the same privilege in a game that he's down 3-1, and I don't want to say it's a must-win game for the Elite 8, but it's as close to it as it can be. And I'm getting sick of hearing it, let alone saying it, but that's the way it is.
Well, we're looking at some of the Chelmsford faithful here. Bill Marcotte with the blue jacket is always talking with his hands, and Ed Lavelle, parents of the couple of the players on the team, and below them, Mr. and Mrs. Daly. So, you know, one of the other things we got to mention, I think we need to mention here, Mark Pelchak from Chelmsford over in Nagano finished 23rd in the 500-meter speed skating, and it's a shame that the town forefathers, I know they've been busy with a number of things and have budget constraints, but this is a kid that played in this association, had a shot, you know, in the pros, so to speak, at some of the minor league levels, and he's over there, and although he's 23rd, he finished 4th for the U.S. team and did a great job.
Terrific. You know, as we said, there was a delay there. We see some more of the parents of some of the players, the McDonald's right there. I don't know. I'm not a political guy. I don't follow state politics, but it's going to be an absolute sin if this facility and somehow Chelmsford doesn't benefit from the continuation of the excellent condition of the skating surface, the skating facility, the boards. I mean, this is in primo condition, and I don't know whether we need to make calls or send letters to our our state reps, or is there a Speaker of the House by the name of Finneran that may have something to do with this, Billy? Or I hate to pressure you. We didn't discuss bringing this up, but I'm a little upset about the likelihood that this area is going to be unused by not just Chelmsford, but Billerica. Are the cobwebs ready to set in here, and we're going to see another abuse of state funds?
Well, there is legislation. Carol Clevin and Bernie Lynch have been doing an outstanding job of trying to push this through, and unfortunately, the Speaker of the House, Tom Finneran, has we're getting interrupted here, looking like Dan Aucoin is trying to talk his way out of incarceration again.
I think he's being escorted from the building again, and this time by uniform. And it looks like that gentleman's making a complaint.
Well, I talked to Dan the other night, and he said the key thing is none of the charges have been proven. So,
back to the issue.
But basically, the forefathers here, Bernie Lynch has really done an outstanding job on trying to push this through. There's been a number of issues that have come up. Carol Clevin has been working very hard to get this rink. The UMass, the number of people at the UMass, including the Chancellor, have offered to keep this rink open through the end of February. Most of the staff is now out of here. We saw what happened with the backup staff that is not the Don Lamperin staff. They've always done a great job for the Chelmsford Hockey Association and the high school. But right now, Finneran has stalled it. He doesn't believe that a rink should be given to anybody for nothing. And there has been precedent. I know that the Janus rink was passed on to the city of Lowell years ago for $1 lease for 99 years. The Navin rink out in Marlboro, the same thing. There was a number of those state rinks that have been passed on. And right now it's basically being held up on Finneran's desk. So I don't know what we can do. I know our local selectmen are working hard to get this done, and it would be a shame to see this rink close.
Well, let's see what happens. There's a couple other parents, Howie Neild, Mr. McCarthy. Howie looks like he's trying to borrow money again, so we probably want to get off Howie there.
All right, well, we're gonna stop embarrassing the town folks, because we'll be out there someday, and what goes around comes around. We saw it with the hip checks in the period, and we'll close it out and see her at the start of the third.
All right, we're heading into the final 15, and game against Arlington. Arlington's up 3-1, unfortunately. We saw a rambunctious, energetic finish to the second period, Billy. We got to keep it up here, keep banging, and put one in the net quick to get this thing in better shape.
Well, within two, the next goal's the big one, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we got the first line out against what is our first line. A long shot by Jason, tests the goalie. Clearing it up, nice poke check back in there by Bruce. Throws one in. Scotty throws it around behind to Curtis. Nothing there, and Arlington breaks out smartly. Oh, Bruce, that's a way to ride that guy off. Wrong place to be playing hockey right there, out front. Jason hammers a guy, and it comes out on the stick of Curtis, who fires one into the defenseman. Timmy pulls it up and looks out front, and it crosses to nobody. Jason pinches in and gets it up to Scott, who throws it in deep. And this one looks like icing. It'll come back down to the right of the increasingly busy goaltender Perry. Decent pressure there, Billy.
Well, that's what we need to do in this period. We can put it on and get one quick. I think we'll change the the direction of this game and possibly be able to pull this one out. So the next goal is a key goal.
Well, we got Ricky between Sosnowski and Greenwood here with Mike and Jay back on D. And it looks like a harmless clear here. Arlington throws it in deep. Jay goes back, throws it over to a Arlington wing who was waiting for it. Punched in, and Sosnowski draws it out. Play at center ice and thrown in deep. Jay will go get it. Well, Jay won't go get it. Went over to Mike and he didn't pick it up. And Greenwood punishes the freshman Havron. Whoa, and stoned.
Stop of the night by Jeff Neild on the second effort.
Well, I'm telling you, the freshman Haven took the full force of our Greenwood guy, and he's going off to answer the phone. Greenwood puts the wood on another guy, and this one's cleared down deep, but there's no icing here. Tossed up, and it's going to be taken out by Jay. Ricky taps it in and thrown out harmlessly to center ice. Tossed back in by Mike Carnes, and we're going to have a change. The third line's coming out. Getting relentlessly forechecked here. Stuck along the wing boards there. And it's held in by Pachetto, who lets a little one go. Brett picks it up and throws it back behind for Phil, who can't get to it quite in time. Pachetto chases this side. And this one's heading back out, it looks like. Mike Carnes throws it up wing side, not high enough, and Pachetto chases it deep. Throws it all the way around to Brett. Tries to bang it out, but it stays in. Mike Carnes looking to tie a guy up. He does. Almost got thrown out in front, Billy. We almost paid for that one as Phil brings it out. Dumps it in, and we're going to get a little line change here. We're going to see Scott, Tim McDonald, and Curtis here. Timmy tries to take it around front, and it gets thrown out to Bruce. Throws in a wrister, and it sits right in front and is tied up. Almost had a chance to pounce on that, Billy.
Almost, you know, the other piece down the other end, catching a break with that just straight puck, and luckily Arlington not getting able to get the shot off. I think Jeff thought it was on the other side of the net.
Well, we'll stay with this first line versus first line matchup as Timmy throws it in deep. Boyd gets to the puck first, and he's chased. Ooh, it just barely cleared out. Jason hammers a guy. Toyed with a little interference there. Oh boy, that one almost got tipped in. Arlington content to spread out the ice a little bit here. As Tim comes around, tries to throw it up to Curtis, who handles it nicely, but gets stood up just before the blue line. Haven brings it down left wing side, looking for somebody to pass it to. Doesn't find anybody. It bounces in front where Tim throws it out to Scotty, who crosses the blue line, controls it a little bit into the right wing boards, and it gets tossed down for icing. We're going to be facing this off to the left of the goalie. We got 10:24 left in still a 3-1 hockey game, Billy.
Well, unofficially shots on net, 6 for Arlington, 3 for Chelmsford, and Jeff Neild coming up with a couple of great stops on the second shots.
Looks like we're going to be matching our third line. We'll get it over to Pachetto. Stuck right by the net and tossed up the wing boards. Oh, let Mike Carnes unload that one, Phil. Nice centering pass, harmlessly, doesn't get touched. And that one gets thrown out and missed. Fortunately, missed wide. Cleared out to Phil, who tries to dump it over at neutral ice, and it gets thrown into Chelmsford. What could have been icing, it's waved off as Mike Carnes throws it up for McCarthy to start again. Outside the zone, Coach Fletcher called for a change here, and we've got some guys that are still stuck in a little deep in their zone. Again, McCarthy looking behind, throws it over to Mike. And that's one we want to be tying up, but can't. It's over to to Phil, who's going to go for an icing here, it looks like. No, it's being waved off, and we will get the change. Sosnowski, Hajar, and Greenwood now mixing it up with the second line. Nice solid ride by Greenwood, riding the guy out of play. And it looks like the puck stuck under him. I'm sorry, we got a damaged Arlington player in the corner. Billy, I didn't see it, did you?
I missed the hit. It looks like number 8, Matt Walsh, and looking for some assistance from the dock. So
well, I didn't see the play. He's face down. He is moving around, which is a nice thing. He seems to be in some pain. We'll hope that everything's okay there. Our dock's heading over. I don't know if we can maybe get a peek at that replay. Maybe if we could catch in one of the corners what happened. The play was a little higher on the boards, about 20 feet higher, as we were coming out or trying to come out of the zone a little bit. We got 8:39 left to go in what's still a 3-1 game. Arlington up, and we're glad to see that fella get up onto his knees and onto his feet. Let's take a peek at the replay here, if we can cue it up a little bit and see whether it was just incidental contact or a stick or whatever. Here he's carrying the puck. Well, that was the guy carrying the puck there, wasn't it, Billy?
it was number 8, Matt Walsh, covering the puck and being assisted off the ice right now.
Well, we don't see much here. Let's watch this go through. He's down at this point in time with 2 guys riding off with him. One of them is down. And Rick Hajar skating away, so Ricky's out of there. I don't know who it might have been, but he looks grogged up a little bit. That's too bad. It's been a gritty Arlington team, Bill. They like the rough stuff, which is fine. We haven't seen any real tempers flare. I haven't seen any dirty play at all. It's simply been a nice, solid game for both sides. Well, here we go. We got the first line versus first line here as we throw it up to center ice. And O'Leary tosses in a hard, low shot on Jeff. It gets cleared up the right wing boards where Mike takes it, throws it in deep. McDonald goes to fight for it and throws it in front where it's collected by himself. Hard work along those boards. Here's the guy with the big guy. Jason keeps it in, throws it in neatly. That's a high stick. Jason throws it out into neutral ice again. And Arlington will be real happy just throwing that one in once they clear the red line. Watch yourself here. Well, we got a little stuff there with Bruce and one of the Arlington guns going at it with a little bit of activity after a whistle.
Well, it looks like number 7, Tim Harper, and he just scooped up the puck off the back of the boards, and I think our defense thought that Jeff was just going to cover it, and Jeff was leaving it for the defense to pick up, and a little bit of lack of communication there.
Well, we got Greenwood, Hajar, and Sosnowski out there with Mike and Jay right now as Jay throws it around the boards to try to get it out, and it gets stuck there where Ricky takes it and centers it over to Sosnowski. Just not getting that deep enough. Arlington breaks up and crosses the blue line. Jay pushes him out, and this is not a good deal for us here. We had 3 guys very high and on the right. This should be nice. We got a little 3-on-2 action coming out. Ricky clears the line, gives it back to Sosnowski, who ends up behind the net. Sosnowski looking around, tosses back behind where Garrett's going to challenge. Up around the wing boards. Mike keeps it in. Nice play there, Mike. Sosnowski puts his weight on a guy, and Greenwood's looking behind the net to pick one up. Sosnowski has it, looking front. Ricky makes the shot, and it gets a bad save. tied up in the crease. Nice work there.
Great setup, pass out to Ricky, and Ricky put it right on the corner, but unfortunately Perry had that pad down and was covering the post on the short side, made the stop and covered up. Well, a little less than 7 minutes, Jack. We need to do that a little bit more often.
Well, Ricky didn't get great wood on that one. It was a little bit of a rolling puck, and Perry made a nice save. Oh, Phil rips one from about 20 feet in front. Well, that one did everything except go in, Billy. Nice activity there, right where we want to be playing hockey for a while. We got a line change. I don't know if we're going to get a peek at this, but there was a flurry of activity over in that.
Started off with Phil, great shot, went wide of the net, come back out. Brett Stevenson trying to tuck it in, and a couple of additional shots in there.
Well, we're back to live, and we got third line on third again. And Phil's able to keep it in. Tries to get the pass over to Brett. Andy throws it in deep, bounces off the boards and gets tied up by Perry. We get a quick whistle, and we're going to face it off to the right of the goaltender.
Well, I don't think Coach Fletcher can complain with the effort on this line. They've clearly been dominating the play just about all night. Great matchup for Chelmsford.
Toss behind to Phil, throws, whoa, chips one out to Andy. It just got tied up by one of the Arlington players. Nice rush here. Mike Curtis handles it. A little bit of a grab on the guy, and Andy Pichetto throws it up the boards. And Brett throws it in deep. Arlington bring it around, tosses it up. Jason is able to keep it in, throws one in where Scotty grabs it. Just can't get the handle on it. Couple of shots. Bruce shoots one from the point. Scotty's fighting for it. Phil's still out there with them, and we're backing off. Here they come. They open up the ice nicely. Shot right on Jeff. Nice save. And Phil, who's got to be tired out there right now, is trying to throw it up the boards, and he does. He's going to get a change it with Brett Stevenson at the same time. Well, we got our line out there. Tim McDonald coming down right wing side. Scotty set up right in front, almost collects that knee-high pass, almost skips it in. And Arlington clears. Looks like an ice. No, they're going to wave it off. We got 5:14 left in the third as McDonald brings it down the left wing boards. Looking for a breaking Scotty. Gets thrown in front, and defenseman handles it and knocks it into the corner. All the way back to Mike Carnes, who throws it in back deep around again. Scotty handles it, looking for a guy. Keeps it himself. Tough angle, throws it again into Perry. That was a tough angle, Billy, for Scotty to take that one. Was anyone loose in front?
Yeah, I think he had someone loose, but still figuring he had the shot side screen and a number of great shots there. And again, everything but putting the puck in the net. Perry's having a great game.
You know, it's been a good effort this period. Absolutely good effort. We got the Sosnowski, Hajer, and Greenwood line out there with Jason and Bruce back on the point. Arlington, again, winning a face-off. We haven't won a lot of face-offs tonight, Billy. Gets swept around. Looks like Sosnowski can beat this guy to the puck. It gets by him. Arlington breaks out on, and Greenwood knocks down a nice pass across neutral ice. Bruce back to Jason, looking for a breaking. Gets touched by Greenwood and wave off the icing. And Sosnowski chases a guy into the corner. Gets handled by Ricky. Right there, Ricky. Thrown around behind, and the referee handles it for us. A lot of guys scrumming in there for that one. Here comes Arlington, able to clear the zone. Over to Boyk, who snaps one in. Saved by Jeff. Nice little save. And Ricky brings it up through center ice. Looking around. Nobody to go to yet. Arlington clears it harmlessly out into the center. Bruce collects. We're looking for a line change. We got some tired guys. We'll get it here. Phil Aucoin's line is shooting out. And Jason, who has played an awful lot of this period, is out chasing that one right behind the net. And here we go. Phil and Brett coming up through center ice. Brett drops it back to Phil. Gets caught up in his skates a little bit, and Arlington clears. Nice back checking by Pichetto, and Bruce raises some fireworks. We got nobody in front. Look around in front, guys. Look at this. Bad news. Phil goes down. Nice play by Phil Aucoin. We had two guys set up in front there with only Phil on him. Here comes Brett through center ice. Tees one up in the... Whoa! Tees one up. Defenseman eats it up. It drifts harmlessly into the goaltender. And Phil Aucoin tries to play leapfrog with Perry. Well, that's one way to get behind him, Phil.
2 minutes and 54 seconds, Jack. We've done everything except put the puck in the net this period. Stevenson basically taking the shot, being blocked by the defenseman. A quick easy in on Perry, and Phil couldn't quite make that jump.
Well, at 2:54, we got matching penalties. Arlington player called for roughing, and Phil is called for trying to get a shoulder ride without permission. So they'll be out for the next minute and a half, even at 5 skaters aside. Okay, Arlington trying to bring it up the side, does. They get it through to center ice. Mike tosses it in to Mike Curtis. Whoa. Jay throws it up in the center ice again. We're chasing this one.
Penalty for number 4, Adam O'Leary. 1 minute and 30 seconds for roughing. Chelmsford penalty for number 5, Phil Aucoin. 1 minute and 30 seconds for charging. Time of the penalty for 12 minutes, 6 seconds.
Well, here comes Scotty through center ice, looking around. Oh, Tim McDonald. Oh my God, Timmy almost scored from his knees that time. A nice effort there. We got an icing call. I don't know if we're going to get the replay. No, we don't have it on that one, but a nice effort by Tim. Again, everything but going in net.
Tim McDonald, he's shown it all year. Just great hustle, two-way hockey, down and getting the puck. It looked like the play was broken up. He got in behind the defense, got the shot off. Perry coming up with a stop, getting taken down, and still getting the backhand while he was on his knees. Just great effort.
Well,
it looks like Chelmsford's going to call a timeout here.
Timeout, Chelmsford.
Well, Coach Fletcher's good for a couple timeouts here. If he wants to, he'll do his standard warm-up, a new goalie deal, and here's another one, 3-1, Billy. A little absence of offense tonight, and that was chronic the other night as well.
Well, I don't know if you can really say there's an absence of offense. This has probably been the best effort we've seen of this team skating in 4 or 5 games. I mean, they don't look tired. They're hustling. They're going to the net. They're getting some shots. They just can't put them in. Unfortunately, we don't have the shots on net this period, but clearly Chelmsford has dominated in this period.
They really have.
Yeah, a little bit of it. A little bit of that action.
Well, during this timeout, we're seeing Coach Fletcher talk to the troops in what will be obviously a very, very shortened bench over the next minute and 59 seconds. We're seeing McDonald, Trahan, and Mike Curtis out with Bruce Lindstedt.
And there's Mr.
Jason
Bruce
Ryan.
Lindstedt. He looks like he's asleep there.
And we'll keep an eye on Jeff down there with 1 minute and 59 left, down 2. We might see him leave sooner than we'd normally like to. All right, it's coming around that wing boards. We got Bruce throwing it in, which amounts to a shot on net. going to be facing off here quickly to the right of the of Perry again.
147. We'll watch Jeff Neal around the minute mark, probably heading to the bench, and hopefully we can put one in before then.
Well, that's a nice clearing pass by Arlington there, just gently throwing it out. They don't want to see the icing call, and they're going to just want to throw this into the corner. Well, that's wishful thinking. Instead, they throw it right out front where we didn't mount too much opposition for him.
Well, Jeff Neal on this initial slap shot coming up with a great stop. Unfortunately, he couldn't hold on and rolled off to the side, and it looked like the freshman Ned Havlin. You watch Jeff, he makes a great stop here, and the puck will go to his right, our left on the screen.
Everybody's sliding right. Look at all these
Everyone's
guys
sliding right, and you'll watch, I believe this is the freshman just coming in and taking a backhand at a wide open net.
Well, that puts it away for the night. That makes it 4-1.
Assist number 27, Nolan Hager. Assist number 8, Matt Wall. Time of the goal, 13 minutes, 31 seconds. 5, 27 and 8, 13:31.
Well, the goal was scored by Chris Mansfield.
1 minute.
Oh boy. Well, with 46 seconds to go, Arlington throws in another one. We saw a little bit of a 3-on-1 there.
Well, you can watch this. You can see why Spencer, watch him wait for the screen, and he waited for Mike Kahns. Billy Marcock got knocked down up at the blue line, and they were going 2-on-1, and he waited for Mikey Kahns to commit and shot through the screen. Jeff come up with the initial stop, and unfortunately the rebound was picked up and stuffed in.
On the goal, goal by number 9, Ryan Bogey. Assist number 7, Tim Hazen. Assist number 11.
Well, we got the 44-minute squad out there right now. A bunch of guys that haven't seen ice yet.
14-14.
Nice stop by Jeff there, as we got, again, a bunch of guys that haven't been out all night until the 44th minute. And with 19 seconds to go in a 5-1 game that was a 3-1 game just a minute and a half ago, we're seeing a face-off in the Chelmsford zone with a line of Aronian, Swisbin, and Pat Daly, with Tim Daly and Mike Silk back on D.
Who plays a heck of a lot better than his father does on D.
You got that right. All right, Matty throws it up into neutral ice. Swisbin chases, and Arlington clears. Aronian throws a vicious check onto one of the Arlington players. And we're on the wrong end of a 5-1 loss against a game, gritty, tough team from Arlington. Well, Billy, in a season that started off with all the promise of spring and turned into a good season, the past 3 games, Chelmsford has seen 3 games go into the loss column, 3 in a row against 3 very, very good teams.
Well, you never hate to, never like to see a loss here, but the big game right now coming up, I think, you know, this was a 3-1 game a minute and a half ago, and again, you know, 1 goal, you bring it within a goal, and you know, make it 3-2, and then you have a chance to pull your goalie, and unfortunately, late in the game, Arlington just coming back and getting 2 goals late in the game. The big game now is this Saturday against AB in their house out at the Olympia in Acton, and that's now a must-win game.
As we started the broadcast tonight, I'm so sick of hearing or listening to games being must-win games, and but you know they were must-win games 4 or 5 games ago. They're must-win games now, and
easy for you to say.
it sure is. It's been a long night, but this is you know it's a year that's been a good one. I think the teams had basically a good year. The last week and a half of play has been a tad disappointing, but you know, again, they've played some tough clubs. So
Well, you know, Everett, Billerica, and Arlington in a week span. I mean, you just that's some. I don't know who made the schedule, but they definitely didn't want to see Chelmsford get any rest, and those are just you know, 3 of the toughest teams that you're going to face in this schedule. So.
yeah, the back end of the schedule clearly was tougher than it was for the first 10 games that Chelmsford had. You know, tonight they skated with these guys. There were some times that we thought Arlington carried the play, but there was at least 15 minutes of play tonight out of the 45 that Chelmsford carried the play.
Yeah.
We had the right matchup, that third line against third line. I think we had our way by and large, and just you know, I won't say we didn't get the calls, we didn't get the bounces, but you know, we got a 5-1 game, as you mentioned. Sounded, smelled like, felt like a 3-1 game.
It was, you know, I think it was Vince Lombardi said we never lost a game, we just ran out of time, and unfortunately the last minute and a half here, you know, those 2 quick goals, those 2 goals went the other way, and you know, we'd be smiling. If again, if we didn't play that last minute and a half, I don't think Coach Fletcher would have been unhappy walking out of here 3-1. I mean, he doesn't want to see a loss, but these kids put in a great effort tonight, and it's the best we've seen them play probably in 4 or 5 games now.
You know, as we started again tonight, I think there's only one team in the state that's unbeatable. CM's unbeatable. I think on any given night, I mean, this is a tough team. They've only had 1 loss, 1 tie, Arlington that is, but you know, I think even with the Billerica game, we've beaten Billerica before. We could beat these guys on a given night. Wasn't our night. We're leaving the Forum with a 5-1 loss, which will be the 3rd loss in a row, actually, for Chelmsford. But next opponent is where, Billy?
Saturday night, Acton Boxborough, and